I don't think Keyshawn Davis is stronger than Jamaine Ortiz. If it goes to do that, the orthodox jab, when he fights orthodox, that jab is mean, honestly. It's a very... Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to give a little breakdown in my fight prediction in the fight between Jamaine Ortiz and Keyshawn Davis. Now, let's go over these guys real quick. They both have been fighting around 135. They're both fighting at 140 right now. Both decorated amateurs. Keyshawn Davis is currently undefeated, former WBO lightweight champion. Missed weight in his last fight. Jamaine Ortiz was also struggling to make 135, hence why he moved up. He actually missed weight on his last fight as well. Keyshawn Davis' last fight did not happen, so he fought earlier in the year. So both of these guys have a history of missing weight in the last fight, so they both, I think, are going to be on point for this one. Especially they're both fairly new classes. Keyshawn Davis, I think this is his first fight at 140, and Jamaine Ortiz, he's kind of broken into the weight class a little bit. So let me break this down a little bit, right? Keyshawn Davis is the favorite. I think there's a reason behind that, but I also want to point out Jamaine Ortiz has had very good performances on the top level. You know, he fought Lomachenko when he was 135 kingpin. He you know, because Teofimo had gone up at that point, and then Teofimo was kingpin at 140, and he had very good fights against both of them. He was neck and neck with Lomachenko for 10 fights and lost the last 2 rounds. And then some people, a good portion of the fans actually think that Ortiz beat Teofimo Lopez, and there's a case for that. So I just also want to point out one more thing, that after Lomachenko beat Jamaine Ortiz, Lomachenko lost to Haney in a fight where people thought Lomachenko won. So they had very comparable performances, honestly, Jamaine Ortiz and Devin Haney with Lomachenko. So I do think there was a narrative to have Haney win that fight a little bit, if you ask me. It could have gone either way, but I don't think he did much better than Jamaine Ortiz did against Lomachenko. So let's point that out. 135, Lomachenko. 140, Teofimo Lopez. And then also 147, you have Devin Haney, who's potentially the best welterweight in the world right now, ever since Boots went up in weight. So I think Jamaine Ortiz has proven that he's on that level. He's on that top level against any of those guys. I think he'd give any of those guys hell again. So when we put Keyshawn Davis as the favorite, we're really putting him on a high pedestal, saying, hey, you know, these guys right here, you know, they're giving Jamaine Ortiz life and death, and we think you're going to beat him. So, you know, kudos to Keyshawn Davis. I think he's earned that right to be the favorite, but I think this is a 50-50 fight. You know, let's break down this fight a little bit. You know, who has the better jab? I think Jamaine Ortiz's jab on the southpaw stance is not better than Keyshawn Davis' jab. But I think when when Jamaine Ortiz goes to do the orthodox jab, when he fights orthodox, that jab is mean, honestly. It's in that orthodox position, that jab is sharp, and I think it could push back Keyshawn Davis. I don't know what style he's going to choose to fight with, or if he's going to be switching on and off throughout the fight, but I do think that's going to play a role. So with that being said, if it's orthodox, I got to favor Jamaine Ortiz with a jab. If it's southpaw position, I think Keyshawn Davis' jab is better. So I also want to talk about the strength. I don't think Keyshawn Davis is stronger than Jamaine Ortiz. If it's a inside fight and one's not like outwitting the other, start pushing each other around, I gotta favor Jamaine Ortiz. Somebody's gonna get bullied. It's not gonna be Jamaine Ortiz. I do think he has physical strength advantage over Keyshawn Davis. Now, punching power, I would favor Keyshawn Davis. I do think he hits harder. I think Jamaine Ortiz kind of smothers his punches sometimes. So that does work against him a little bit. But I don't think anybody views him as a huge power puncher anyway. He kind of, where I do think Keyshawn Davis could beat him, actually can like have an advantage over him and does have an advantage, is the inside fighting. I think when it comes to trading, Keyshawn Davis should have the advantage. I haven't seen Keyshawn Davis fight on this level, so this is the first time he's fighting somebody on Jamaine Ortiz's level, to be honest with you. And on the lower level, which has been fairly decent competition for the amount of fights he does have, he has been able to punch in between a lot of those fighters. but it seems like when he has a faster fighter, he doesn't punch in between those punches as often. He still does, still part of his game, but definitely he might take a step back in that. But if it comes down to it and they're trading, I gotta favor Keyshawn Davis in that aspect. And with the defense, I think Keyshawn Davis dodges the punches better, ducks punches better. But when it comes to parrying and footwork, I gotta favor Jamaine Ortiz slightly in that aspect, because he does use his footwork to get out, and I have seen him parry more punches than Keyshawn Davis does. He kind of just ducks and dodges. He has very good reflexes. So slight edge to Keyshawn Davis, but when it comes to footwork, I gotta give the edge out to Jamaine Ortiz. So with all that being said, who do I think is gonna win here? I do think this is gonna be a close fight. It depends how early Jamaine Ortiz starts imposing his physical strength on him. If he can start early on, he could win this fight in a close fight. I do think it's going to be close. I really think this is a 50-50 fight. And because Keyshawn Davis is so talented and twitchy and lands like eye-telling punches, I think he has the advantage to win this fight. If it goes the distance, it might be a scenario where Jamaine Ortiz is landing a lot of punches in close quarters, or not as telling, but hook body, like real fast combos, boom, boom, boom. One of the judges might be swayed to give it to him, but Keyshawn Davis might land those counter punches that just move the head a little bit more telling. And for those reasons, I favor Keyshawn Davis to win a close decision. I could even see a draw, honestly. I think a draw might happen. I think it's more viable than people actually think. So who knows? I'm not betting any money in this fight because I'm a little biased. I'm a huge Jamaine Ortiz fan, but this is definitely a 50-50 fight. Don't let my bias fool you. I'm analyzing this fight as with the least amount of bias that I possibly can, because I think people are writing off Jamaine Ortiz, to be completely honest. And I think they all think, oh yeah, he's going to give Keyshawn Davis a good fight. No, he could win this fight. He's very capable of winning this fight, and I do give Keyshawn Davis a small edge to win this by a close decision, but by no means will I be shocked if Jamaine Ortiz wins this, especially because he could potentially have the better jab, and he's physically stronger, and he's almost as talented naturally as Keyshawn Davis. Natural talent, I got to give it to Keyshawn Davis, but natural talent doesn't always win the fights. Intelligence does, and Jamaine Ortiz is called technician for a reason. I think he knows his identity very well. I remember Teddy Atlas always used to talk about it. Hey, if you don't know your identity, you're not going to reach your full potential. And it's not verbatim what he said, but that's pretty much what he gets at. And I think Jamaine Ortiz knows his advantage. He knows when to put it on, when he doesn't. And the few times where I've seen him be a little lackluster, I think is because he knew, hey, I have to fight in this style to get the best of him. But I think he's hungry. So slight edge to Keyshawn Davis, close decision, but by no means is Jamaine Ortiz getting written off. He could very well win this fight, and that's my prediction for this fight, guys. Listen, it pained me to even say Keyshawn Davis has the advantage to win this by a close decision, but I'm not writing off Jamaine Ortiz, and neither should you. If you're daring, who knows? Look at the odds and see what happens. Jamaine Ortiz is definitely capable of winning this fight. I don't think Keyshawn Davis will hurt him too often, if any at all. I don't think Jamaine Ortiz has that telling power to hurt Keyshawn Davis, but I do think he can bully him and land good combos, and that might frustrate him. At no point will Keyshawn Davis be able to walk through this guy's punches. But that is pretty much my breakdown and my prediction. So, guys, like and subscribe to the channel. We talk boxing over here all the time. We break down fights. We do fight predictions and then some, alright? So, until the next video, alright guys?